I want to thank you all for being here today. This is an historic day, and I'm going to let the Speaker of the House, David Hunt, talk to you about the history of this bill and how it got to where it's at. What I want you all to do is, if you would, when you leave, I have put a signing statement out on this bill and why it's important for me to talk to you all at this brief time I have, because I've asked Brad Avakian, who is the Commissioner of Labor and Industries, and Susan Castillo, who is the Superintendent of Public Instruction, to cooperatively work together to develop guidelines for the implementation of the bill. My concern is that I have 198 school districts in the state. I have about 20 education service districts, and I have about 100 charter schools, which are all covered by this bill. And I think it's important that there be uniform guidelines throughout the state at how it's applied and how it's interpreted. Because I think all of us understand that we don't want one part of the state doing one thing and some other part doing another. So Brad and Susan have will work on those guidelines to have them ready by the time the bill goes into effect on July 1, 2011. So with that, I want to turn this over to my good friend, the Speaker of the House. He has labored hard and cares passionately about this bill. So I'll let him introduce the other people who are with us today. Mr. Speaker.
Thanks, Governor, and thank you so much. I think it's very significant that the Governor has chosen to make this the first public bill signing he's done of bills from the February session. It's interesting if you look at the history of this bill. We talked a lot during the build-up about the former Speaker of the House, Casper K. Kubley. Not coincidentally, KKK were his initials. In fact, if you look back on the wall of former speakers, most people actually list their first full name. He did not. He's listed as KK Kubley. And the prevalence of the KKK in this building was very strong back then. I have another historical piece to share today. The governor at the time, Walter Pierce, was also a very active member of the KKK. In fact, if you look back at some of his biographical achievements in office, he actually lists the passage of this bill that will be officially repealed with the governor's signature today as one of his crowning achievements as governor. Now, it's interesting, as the governor and I were just looking this up, Governor Pierce was a Democrat, Speaker Kubley was a Republican. So the KKK was unfortunately a very bipartisan enterprise back in the 1920s. And I think the good news is the repealing of it this year has also been a very bipartisan enterprise. We've really had tremendous support, not only from the broad range of religious groups that are in this room. It's really been a labor of love, I think, for so many of us to carry this forward. Commissioner Brad Avakian has been a tremendous advocate for this, a very articulate advocate for it. It's actually the first time, Brad and I were classmates when we came into the House together. I think this was actually the first time I have finally been glad that he was not in the House, because he's been such an effective advocate as Labor Commissioner. I've really been mourning his absence from the House for about 4 years since he left. But his work as Labor Commissioner on this has just really been exemplary, and will continue to be, because he's been an effective partner in advocacy to pass this. Now he's going to be an effective partner, as the governor said, with Superintendent Castillo in implementation. So thank you so much to Brad for all his great work. Another great lawyer advocate for this has been Steve Green, who I thought I just saw a moment ago. Oh, that's because he's standing right back there. Steve Green, who's a professor, constitutional law professor at Willamette University, happens to be based here in Salem, but really is a nationally known church-state religious liberty expert. He's been a great partner. And I especially want to call out several of the groups who are here. We had a very broad coalition of organizations in support of this bill and working on this bill for many months. The Ecumenical Ministries of Oregon was really helpful in pulling together the broad range of groups that are represented here today. The Oregon Family Council was a tremendous advocate in meeting with members and really making very clear the reasons why this bill needed to be passed and should be passed to eliminate this era of discrimination. The Northwest Religious Liberty Association has been a key partner, not just in this bill, but in other religious liberty and church-state separation bills that we've worked on together. The PSU Muslim Student Association, the Jewish Federation of Greater Portland, the Muslim Community Center of Portland, the Islamic Society of Greater Portland, the Urban League, the Baptist Joint Committee, the list goes on and on. We've had tremendous support, very broad and deep support for this bill. I want to recognize a few specific legislators who have really carried the ball very successfully. That we're blessed to have the chair of the Education Committee, Sarah Gelser from Corvallis, here with us today. Sarah took this on when it was clear coming out of the 09 session that this was not going to happen. Sarah stepped up immediately and said, not only do I want to work on this, but I'd like this in my committee. And if you look at the complicated, complex, controversial issues in her committee, she really didn't need one more challenging one, but she embraced it from the beginning. Her Vice Chair, Michael Dembro, has been a huge advocate for it as well. Representative John Huffman from the Dalles has been a very strong, consistent advocate for it, as has Representative Nick Call from East Multnomah County. I want to recognize them even though they're not here. In the Senate, two people in particular, I recognize Senator Richard Devlin, who chairs the Rules Committee, and Senator Jason Atkinson, who carried the bill on the floor and was a very strong advocate. So it really has been a bipartisan effort to, again, remove this, erase this period in our state history. I guess we're not erasing it, we're just redeeming this period of our state's history, which was so filled with intolerance and hatred and discrimination. Today, by the governor signing this bill, we are going back and erasing that period of discrimination and intolerance and actually making it clear to teachers that we want teachers who are effective teachers in the classroom. And that should be the standard, not their religious faith or lack thereof, not anything else about them. The standard for teachers in Oregon should be, and the standard for all workers in Oregon should be, can they be effective at the jobs they do, not based on their religious faith. And so it is really exciting. I'm so appreciative to the governor, both for signing the bill and for having this opportunity in this wonderful newly refurbished space to redeem this period in our state's history and get us back on stable footing. Thank you very much, Governor.
Thank you. Brad, you want to say something?
Oh, no, I think the speaker said it, thank you, but Representative Gelser, and if not, I say we waste no time in getting this signed.
And if we could,
If you want to get in.
yeah, if we could have representatives from the groups come on up and join us up here. Feel free to come all the way on behind. There's space here behind the governor as well.
If I could, while you're coming up, there is, you know, in any major event, there's always trying to put it into some particular time frame so that we all remember it in our lives and our lives. And what I would hope you remember about this, as the speaker said, this is the first bill that I will actually have a public signing on out of the session in February, but it is also the first bill that will be signed in the refurbished offices of the governor and in this room where you see the press kneeling on the state seal. It has nothing to do with religion.
Michelle, we're here to accept
That's okay. Thank you. There it is. Mr. Speaker.
It's official.
An opportunity for any of the groups that are here that have watched this issue for many, many years. If you want to say something, please feel free to do it this particular time. Whoever.
On behalf of Ecumenical Ministries of Oregon, I just want to say thank you very much for your support signing this bill, for the speaker's leadership, Commissioner, all the folks, but I think also the courage of some people that represent faith communities in our state that aren't always known to people in the state, that came forward and said this is important not just for us, but for all people in Oregon, and to be able to say now in our public schools that all are welcome to teach, to use their gifts and talents for the benefit of our children and our families. All we can say is thank you for your leadership, making this public, for sticking by this. What a coalition it was, and what a great day it is for Oregon.
Yeah, come on up.
Yeah, I called out Representative Call in his absence, and it's great to have him here, a strong advocate for this bill from day one.
I got nothing to add.
Please, anyone else who would? Please.
I'm a high school teacher. I'm missing my pre-calculus class right now. I became a U.S. citizen only 3 years ago, and I would never have thought that I would be a part of changing a law of the land in a new country that I chose to become a citizen in. I simply don't have enough words to express my gratitude and my thanks for everyone who participated in the passage of this bill. And now I can work and feel confident about wearing my religious dress every day to school without having the fear in the back of my mind that somebody might tell me, you shouldn't be here. I am a teacher, I'm a math teacher. I think I do a good job with my students, and I would like to continue doing that.
Thank you very much.
I wanted to, my name is Saad Hanuman Khalsa. I am not a teacher per se, but I definitely respect that honorable position. And I want to thank everyone that made this happen. And thank you, Governor, for signing this bill today. I wanted to recognize a friend of mine who's in the room here today with his son, Ravi Tej Singh from Eugene, who really, people don't realize, was the one who kept this alive since 1986. He told me about it. I worked with the civil rights organizations, both with the Muslim community and the Sikh community, and Ravi Tej was the one that kept this thing warm and reminded people that we've got to get this thing changed. And so I want to recognize him, and I just want to say, as a person who was born in Rhode Island, Roger Williams would be very proud of all of you today, the man who originated the concept of the separation of church and state. So thank you. Thank you.
And a Baptist.
And a Baptist.
On behalf of the Northwest Religious Liberty Association, we'd like to say thank you to all of you that have worked together. It's been a thrill working with you. The oppression has been lifted, and all people of faith can be blessed by this, what I see as a constitutional balancing standard between the Free Exercise Clause and establishment, or the separation of church and state. It's a very reasonable bill. And so I'm very thankful and proud of Dave Hunt's leadership, Speaker Hunt, and Labor Commissioner Bradavikian, and the Governor here, Ted Kulingoski, for making this possible. It wouldn't be possible without your support.
Thank you.
Nick?
Thank you all very, very much. I appreciate it. And welcome to the Capitol. I hope you remember this day, because it is a landmark day. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. Thank you.